Well,
Hey, what's
well,
going
hello.
on? What's going on, everybody?
Yo, yo. What it sound like?
You sound good. We do. We do.
So I found
What's
this at the grocery store earlier today. After the gym, I go to the grocery store sometimes because it's right there.
what is that? Dude, protein soda, is it good?
This one, well, you probably don't know what that tastes like, but the pineapple high noon,
Yeah, okay.
it's like a little bit sweeter than that, but I didn't realize it had 200 grams of caffeine in it, and I had one earlier because I got 3 flavors because there's only 3, so I could try them. This is made by Barabels, which make some of the best
Yeah.
tasting protein bars.
Yep.
And so I was like, "Oh, snap." I mean, they're like 3.79 a piece, so I just got them just to try them, but they're okay.
I'm gonna have to go see if they're locked in, bro. I'm gonna go get some.
They, so I think now I'm at, like, I mean, I had a whole pot of coffee, and then I had my pre-workout for the gym, so I'm
You're a
probably at,
lot of
like,
millis, bro.
I'm at a lot of millis, man,
You're
and
like
I didn't
1,000
realize
milligrams
it.
of caffeine.
Yeah, and that's probably not good. But I don't feel it at all, like, I don't know.
You're
Either
just
way, not ideal.
no adenosine receptors are firing in your brain right now. You're just gonna not be tired for like ever.
I'm always tired, forever, like, always. Always tired.
Bro, no one tells you that as you get older, like when doing stuff for the kids, like running a gun in your life, just busy things that have to happen. You're like, you just stay tired all the time.
Yeah.
It doesn't help that I'm up at 1:50 in the morning every morning, but
That's not up. That's just not going to bed.
it's true.
Like, that's
It's
crazy,
true.
dude.
Mm-hmm.
1:50 in the morning. Like, so what time do you go to bed? 7?
Oh, I should, but no, I go to bed later than that. 9:30
That's
ish.
crazy. You can't do that. That's not healthy.
No, it's not. I need to
It's not
do
good for
better
your
going to
heart.
bed early.
And that's every day?
Pretty much, yeah. Short of like Sunday, Mondays.
Bruh.
Sleeping into me is like 7. Nah, not even
Oh,
6:30.
yeah. I was gonna say, I think what day was that? I think it was Saturday? Saturday. I think Saturday, and I don't even call it sleeping in because, like, my alarm goes off at 6:15 on Saturday. That's my sleeping in. My normal alarm on normal weekdays is 6 o'clock. But on days I teach, I'm up at 4:30. So, like, sleeping in is 6:15 on Saturdays and Sundays.
Yep.
And then but I think my alarm went off at 6:15 this last Saturday, and then I got up, just turned my alarm off and went back to sleep until 7. It was glorious.
Dude, yeah, sleeping till 7 is beautiful. Like I'm so excited to like we have a vacation coming up in June. I'm looking forward to it. I say I'm going to be able to sleep in till 7, but reality is like my body starts firing off like if I like sleep till 5, like something's wrong or like 6, I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I'm late to something," you know? It just wakes up like,
Yeah,
"Okay, you're ready to go." So I'm going to be walking
yeah.
to find coffee, you know. She's
Where you
still
guys going
asleep.
for your vacation?
Hawaii.
Oh, where?
We're going to Oahu. We'll stay in Honolulu, like Waikiki area.
Mhm.
I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm looking forward to it.
When are you doing that, in June?
Yeah, beginning of June. Got flights booked, Airbnb booked, so we'd be
Are you
out.
getting a rental car?
Nah, dude, I'm just gonna Uber to the Airbnb and Uber back to the airport and just take a carry on. Like it's just board shorts, tank tops, and like one hoodie and
Have you
sandals.
been there before?
I've been there one other time. She hasn't been there though.
Mm.
So it's gonna be chill. It should be cool. I'm just ready to be on a beach, dude, honestly, with like no agenda. If we do something, cool. If we don't, cool. Like sit on the water all day. Come back looking like a lobster, you know?
Yeah.
Cooked on
I'm not the
cooked on
biggest
both
beach
sides.
fan, but
I'd rather be in the mountains. Like mountains are my happy place, but like I love me some beach. I can operate like I have dual brains, 100% operate on a beach. Like lived in
You have
San
a beach
Diego,
brain
like
and a mountain brain.
correct. Like I can check out. I want to like I'm trying to get her to learn how to surf, but I don't think that's going to work. We'll see.
You don't need a fishing license in Hawaii, just so you know.
Oh, that's beautiful. I did not know that.
Yeah. It's like the only
I was
state I think that.
I was thinking about maybe trying to get to the mangroves or something, like like one of those like where you paddleboard out and then you just fish off your paddleboard in the
You could be able
shallows.
to
Like for
shore fish though.
that's true, but snook and all sorts of stuff, like all that good shallow water predator fish, be pretty cool. I'm
Yeah.
excited. My dog is hunting flies right now. Just if you hear anything smash,
Again?
he's literally hunting flies.
Hunting
So.
again, eh?
Always. That's his whole purpose on the earth is to rid the house of any flies that enter into this place. He's crazy. But he almost went through the window yesterday in the front room. I'm like, dude, I thought it was the kids throwing a ball around. So I like jumped down there. I'm like, what are you guys doing? Like, dude, that was the dog. That was the dog. So parenting win. My bad. Whatever. Jesus still loves me.
Did they say bruh?
Dude, they do say
Bruh, it
bruh
was the
all the time.
dog.
Even the little one, the littlest one says,
no.
bruh. Yeah. And his like attitude, like if he starts to explain something, he goes like,
oh,
dude, dangerous. It's dangerous.
Bro, I will friggin' smiggity smack, bro.
Yeah, I will send you into next week if I have to, buddy. You need to chill. That's crazy. Yeah, they're crazy, bro. That Jaren's into collecting Hot Wheels and like reselling them. So like my whole table's full of Hot Wheels right now. It's kind of crazy.
Selling them to who?
Like there's a whole market, dude.
Like he's just
like hustles them on the internet. Like he just found a random Hot Wheel and some dude's gonna buy it for $60 on the internet.
Where did he find them at? The store?
Yeah, for $1.30.
I don't understand.
I don't know. It's a whole black market trade thing. They're collectible. Certain things make them more collectible. I don't know.
That seems interesting.
So one of his buddy's dad has been into collecting Hot Wheels since he was like Jaren's age, and turned around and bought his first car with money that he made from selling Hot Wheels. And his first car was a Toyota Supra MK4, which is like the Fast and the Furious Supra, and then held on to it after 16 and sold it probably like 10 years ago for like $130,000 and put it as a down payment on his house.
Dang.
I know. I was like, that's crazy. So yeah, dude. So shout out, homies. You got my son hustling Hot Wheels at school illegally right now. So I'm like, dude, could you get in trouble for that? He's like, yeah, it's just a little trouble. So he's like black market Hot Wheels selling at his school. It's crazy. He carries 2 backpacks, one with Hot Wheels, one for his school. It's insane. So, anyone who's from his school, don't report him.
That's pretty funny.
He's hustling on it, dude. So we were at the grocery store last night till at 8:00 looking for new stuff. Hey, whatever. I was hustling other things at his age, so Hot Wheels is fine. So you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was turning profit other ways, so I'll take Hot Wheels.
Yeah, it's not like the cops are gonna be like, "Hey, what are you doing selling Hot Wheels over here?"
Exactly. There's not risk of jail time for Hot Wheel distribution.
Yeah.
There on the other side, there was major jail time available for me at his age. So it's crazy.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. Hey, whatever. Jesus loves him, man. I'm excited for this topic, bro. Faith and firearms, man. Especially for like now. The culture of today is crazy.
Hey, dude. So our main dude, Keith Graves, he's going to be down in Phoenix this weekend for a conference.
Okay. Where at?
I don't know actually.
He's the dude that runs
Christian Warrior Training.
Yeah, that's cool.
Let me ask him where the I saw it posted, but I don't remember. So if you're in Phoenix,
Yeah, I subscribed to all his deals. Valuable info this guy's got. Even
yeah,
I mean,
Keith Graves, Christian Warrior Training.
even if you are just someone who exercises the Second Amendment and wants to be a little more knowledgeable about threats pertaining to people of faith and faith establishments and churches. And because the reality is, if you attend a church on a Sunday, you potentially could be a target.
Mhm.
Subscribe to him. He's always updating, informing. Subscribe to his
He has, like,
email.
a
All that.
newsletter with,
Yep.
what is it? What do they use?
It's like it's like a colored tier system based on threat level for churches.
But I mean, like,
It's great.
what's the
I forget what.
blog?
Yeah, I forget
It's
what
not a blog, it's
interface.
a yeah, the interface.
Yeah, I forget what interface it is, but it's all just go christianwarriortraining.com and subscribe. All that information's on there.
It's on, of course, that one thing doesn't show it.
Duh. We're live, bro. Why would it want to work right now? Did
It's
you know?
on yeah, it's on that, whatever that is.
Yeah, it's like it's not Patreon, but it's similar.
Substack.
So yeah,
Jeez. So you go on Christian Warrior Training and you can sign up and then you get the emails usually like 2 to 3 times a week. That's like his full-time thing. That and YouTube. So as
yeah,
soon
he
as I
puts out good
find out, I
content.
will let you know
Yeah, please do.
where the conference is at. It's on his
Yeah, please do.
I think it's on his Instagram, to be
Dude,
fair.
how did your Easter go with church wise?
It was alright. It was kind of funny because the second service was more people, the 10:30 service, and kind of like I don't know, like 10 minutes into it, a dude in the far right got up and started walking towards the stage.
What?
And I was like, "Oh, dang it." So
Here we go. Game
as
time.
soon as he got up, I started walking and
Mm-hmm.
he went to so like our right side exit doors, they just go outside. So I was like, okay, crap. So I went over, I just started following him and he apparently thought it was like there was a bathroom out there or something. Like he didn't know that it just went outside. So he like went and he saw that it went outside and then closed it. And I was like, as he closed it, I was kind of walking past him so I could shut it. And like everyone else was already on the radio, like tracking him. They were tracking him on the cameras and all that stuff. And
Yeah.
so I was like, all right. And he went in the bathroom and he was sitting on his toilet. And so we had dudes outside the bathroom just in case, because like,
Yeah.
that's
It was
kind of where
odd.
they
Yep.
set up for stuff. And then apparently the one dude that we have, who's kind of inactive right now because he's dealing with some health stuff, was sitting like 3 rows behind him and he saw that he was crying previously. And then like he assumes it was like his dad or something was like trying to console him, whatever. But so he thinks that's what it was. He was just trying to get it together.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
yeah, so
got a
that was
little
about it.
yeah. Dude, we had the dude, it was our weekend was crazy. So we started Friday, Good Friday with 2 experiences. Um Then Saturday, we had a festival that had 3,000 people show up to it at a school in Chandler. Um, and then Sunday, we had 4 experiences. So for the total weekend, we had 6 experiences plus a giant festival. Dude, so we ended up seeing like, 6,000 people that weekend through the church. Dude, we had record-breaking numbers, like 2,400 people come through the church on Easter. Dude, at one point, we filled up our auditorium. We filled up our overflow room. We stole another room that was being used for something else. We kicked everybody out of there, filled it full of chairs, filled that room up. And then we had like 80 or 90 people watching it in folding chairs in the lobby.
Oh,
It was
wow.
crazy, bro. Like it
That's
was
cool.
just the sheer amount of people was the biggest problem for us, like getting them out
Mhm.
quickly. Dude, I had to be pretty,
To get ready for the next service.
oh, dude, yeah, the exchanges were dicey because you had 600 people in there, and like 700 people coming in. So at any one point, you had like 1,300 people on campus, and you were like, making way for people incoming with outbound. We had baptisms after every experience, so everybody was lingering outside, trying to like, impeding egress and degress in the front door. So we had our we had our work cut out for us as far as getting people in, getting people out, setting up chairs. Like we were at one point, like I'm like, hey guys, I love all of y'all, but like you need to move, get out of this walkway right now. They're like, oh, what do you mean? Where are we supposed to go? We're supposed to go out in the heat. I said, dude, you don't have. I don't know where you have to go. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay right here. So you want to go to lunch, you want to go stand outside, go find a shade tree, something like you just need to get out of this walkway. And like, oh, I see how it is. I see how it is. I'm like, bro, I told you I love you, but you got to move like with purpose. Get out of the way. So that
You
was our
know, I
biggest
heard
deal.
about it.
Oh yeah, people were just. I mean, we were stacked safety team wise. Like everybody was serving, dude. It was wild. Did you guys end
So
up
Keith,
having what's up?
I was going to say, so Keith is going to be at Cavalry, the McCulloch campus,
I have no idea.
Cavalry AZ.
Okay.
Let me see what I can find here. Cavalry Church.
Is he just teaching on like church safety or whatever?
It's a seminar or something. Cavalry Church, Arizona, McCulloch. Let me see. No, not McClintock campus. There we go.
It's probably off in North Phoenix.
Oh,
somewhere.
it's in Lake Havasu.
Oh yeah.
Disregard.
Disregarding. I mean, it's warm enough to go to the lake. Get on a boat and Parker on the river.
Yeah. So it's in Lake Havasu. If you guys want to go, it's on Saturday. This Saturday, the 11th of April. Anyways,
all right.
Long story short,
we digressed.
All right. So today we were talking about faith and firearms. First question on the docket is self-defense biblical?
I would say absolutely.
What you stinking?
Absolutely. There's numerous scriptures to back this up, but I feel like we kind of focus so heavy that Jesus was the lamb that we forget that he's the lion. And he also forget that at points like Jesus flipped tables in the temple. Like there's an element to like we just think that Jesus is this like humble savior, right? Where the definition of what he is meek, which is having full capability to exact violence but choosing not to. You can't say that you're a man of peace if you aren't capable of great violence. If you aren't capable of great violence, then you're I don't even know, you're useless. You know what I mean? In that regard, where you can't say, oh, I'm peaceful. I choose peace when there's no other option. Like if you're just don't have the capability to defend yourself or to exact concise violence if needed to protect your family, your church, your people, then you can't say that you're a man of peace if you can't essentially make war, right? Luke 22:36. Let me read it.
That's the I just going through all the different translations of that. That's the one about if you don't have a sword, sell your cloak and buy one.
Yes.
So that's that literally is in every translation. It's all there's no confusion or different ways to interpret that. It's all the same. If you basically says, oh, I don't want a King James version. I like the NLT. But now he said, take your money in your traveler's bag, and if you don't have a sword, sell your cloak and buy one. Essentially is acknowledging preparedness in dangerous times. So it's there.
Yep. I mean, dude, yeah, you got to think of the disciples, right? Like, it wasn't like, hey, I got in my, $50,000, $60,000 truck and drove the 5 miles down the road or the 10 miles to the next city. These dudes had to walk. I mean, they were on
Yeah.
foot. There were notorious sections of that road passageways that thieves would stay to rob you and oftentimes kill you for the money that you possess in your bag. And you had to be able to defend yourself with it. I mean, there's also talks about you know making yourselves ready. You have to make yourself ready for
Come
war.
here.
And hey, get over there. Lame. She's so gooby, dude.
She's goofy.
Come on, Aaron. Slacker.
Yeah.
She said,
Anyways,
I'm out.
she's
going to
to
work
her
out,
class.
fool.
Yeah.
Yeah, see? But yeah, dude, you have to be knowledgeable. And, and it's a pretty cool illustration, like with a sword and swordmanship. You don't just pick up a sword and you're good at it. Like, it takes intention. You don't just like obviously, like, a sword is heavy. You have to understand how to hold it, what the grip is, how to wield it in a way that's effective. So it implies training, right? Like, you don't just go carry a sword around. These guys had to like know how to use the sword in ways to protect and defend themselves. One of the quotes, um, I forget who said it, but um, it was essentially saying, if you yourself, um, I mean, it's like we ourselves are swords, right? You're either fine tuning your edge or you're allowing your edge to rest. There's no middle ground. If you're not training to be proficient and capable to defend your family and to defend your church, like your edge is resting. And that was pretty. I was like, oh, that's pretty unique way that I've ever heard that put. Like, you don't just go buy a sword. You don't just go buy a weapon. You don't just go. A lot of people are like, oh, how can you spend so much money on? How can you justify jiu-jitsu every month? Isn't it? It's an investment in a set of skills and tools that transcends anything. Like, you take that with you forever. You can take a dude that's a color belt in jiu-jitsu that has a knowledge base like that's never going to leave him. He's going to understand how to manipulate the body in such a way that his hands become weapons, right? Like, people say, oh, you can spend $10,000 on a vacation, or you can spend $10,000 over 10 years and become a black belt. And of that of 1% of the entire, a fraction of a percent of the world's population ever becomes a color belt in jiu-jitsu, let alone a black belt in jiu-jitsu. It's where your investment is, right? Where your training is, where your knowledge base is. And you can't say like, hey, I'm capable if you're not training. How can, oh, I just see red. I just get mad enough. I'm going to see red. Like, no, you're not. You're going to see red against someone that's trained you're going to get schooled. And like every time in jiu-jitsu, particularly, if you in a round, for those of you who don't train jiu-jitsu, usually you train some technique, and at the end of class, you have 5-minute rounds with an opponent or someone that's in your school, right? And in this 5 minutes, your objective is to see how well you've ascertained the technique and trying to imply that in a live role with someone who is trying to not allow you to do that. And every time you are submitted or you tap out, you're basically saying, if this was a real theater of combat, you would have killed me, or you would have broken a limb or an appendage or shattered made my ability to provide for my family impossible.
Yeah.
That's essentially what it's saying. Hey, you would have killed me if we were actually fighting. And on the other side, when you submit someone, they essentially say, hey, in this round, you would have killed me if we were actually fighting in a theater of trying to cause harm to one another. Those skills are necessary to be proficient in jiu-jitsu, but also necessary to even hold your own. Because, we're talking about faith and firearms. You can't just like, someone gets mad at you or someone pushes you, you just pull out your pistol and shoot a dude. Like, you're going to jail, you're going to prison. You have to exhaust every non-lethal form of interaction before you ever draw a lethal form, whether a firearm or a knife. If there's a way to disarm someone or to de-escalate a fight, with your hands way before there's any sort of use of force, then it's foolish that you don't understand that that's your responsibility ever as a man, because you're gonna get some dude that is drunk or just thinks he's having a bad day and he's just trying to pick a fight. And if I can end that fight by passing that dude out 8 seconds and he's passed out, he'll make him reevaluate. You're messing with the wrong person. My goal
Yep.
isn't to beat his face into the ground. I could, you could, anyone that's trained any of jujitsu at all could, but that's not your heart. You're taught how to de-escalate. You're taught how to disarm. You're taught how to put people in a position that makes them rethink their mode of operation to engage in a conflict. That's an investment in who you are as a man.
Yep. So one of the not conflicts, but one of the counter arguments for this whole thing is usually going to be Matthew 5:39.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if someone slaps you on the cheek, offer the other cheek
Mm-hmm.
also. How would
Mm-hmm.
how would you bring that up?
Bro, okay. If you look,
Because I
okay,
think
because
a lot of people take it out of context
100%. And out
and they
of the
misquote it.
culture, yes. And I'm gonna butcher this, but I'm gonna do my best. Okay. First of all, Jesus is the original gangster. Okay. He's amazing. But if you look at what that's actually saying, he's talking about um, a defiance of government, of governance, so it's customary only to be slapped with your right side, right? If you're going to get slapped, someone in the cultural time is only going to hit you with their right hand. What he's talking about is turning the other cheek and preventing a person from slapping you a second time. So whether or not it's talking about a governmental, or so if there's an altercation basically saying, hey, I'm going to cause aggression to you, Jesus says, oh yeah, turn the other cheek. He's essentially dismantling their ability to shame you or punk you a second time. He doesn't say ever to back down. He says to turn the other cheek. You stand your ground and turn the other cheek. He's talking about being defiant in the face of someone that's going to try to oppress or try to cause harm to you. Standing your ground. He's essentially saying, oh, just turn your other cheek. It's not talking about, turn the other cheek. He's not talking about your butt cheeks and walking away. He's talking about making it impossible. So someone is going to have to either backhand you or slap you with the left hand in order to reach the cheek that you've presented them. He's talking about being defiant, righteously defiant. So in that regard, where people are like, oh, well, Jesus, obviously our heart is, as a Christian, we don't want to cause harm. We don't. I mean, just like any veteran I've ever met in my entire life that has served any sort of combat deployment at all, their whole heart, mind, body, soul, and spirit wants to remove themselves from the violence that they've experienced. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Right.
Every part of it. Now, if you put them in a position where they have to use it, like, they're doing everything in their power to avoid that situation. They don't want to. Now, that's our heart as a Christian. We want to avoid every instance of which there could be violence or there could be altercation. But that's not saying not being able to perform the task if required. Like,
Right.
I don't want to have to fight somebody. I don't want to have to put someone on the ground. But I've counted it like if I needed to, I could. I'm not a small dude, but I've also trained some years in jiu-jitsu. I'm not saying I'm great at jiu-jitsu, but I know more than most people that have never trained jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And if you come in, oh, I'm boxing, don't let me close the gap, because as soon as I get on your back, you're passed out. Give me 8 seconds. And if you want to rethink your position, I'll let you. But if you're going to act a fool again, I'm going to let you the blood come back to your brain through your carotid artery. Let's talk to you. But if you want to act a fool again, another 8 seconds, you're passed out. And then at that point, I'm just gonna hold you until someone can de-escalate this or the police arrive. Because my heart isn't to hurt that person. My heart is to de-escalate the situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now,
And Matthew 5:39 is specifically addressing the personal insult and retaliation, not addressing life-threatening violence. Nope. Right.
Nope.
So in that culture, a slap on the cheek was more about like disrespect, over danger.
With shame,
It wasn't about yeah, something like that. So his point was basically not to let pride or ego drive your response, but he was calling for restraint, humility, self-control, not weakness, right? So he
Mhm.
wasn't saying like if there's this person who's trying to hurt you, like, oh yeah, just let him do it. That's not what it means. Like that's
Nope.
taken completely out of context. But
Yep.
at the same time, scripture consistently affirms that the value of protecting life. We're called to defend the vulnerable, act justly, and to walk with wisdom. It basically means that there's a clear difference between revenge and responsibility. One is driven by emotion, and then the other one is driven by purpose. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So at the end of the day, what a Christian is supposed to be doing is we're supposed to be marked by strength and restraint. We're not quick to anger. We're not eager for conflict, but we're definitely prepared. And if necessary, we're supposed to stand up in that gap for others. That's the kind of balance where like faith and responsibility meet. So that's just kind of
Yes.
a little snippet to kind of put in your pocket for for when it
Yep.
comes up. But don't use, you know, the whole like Matthew 5:39 thing comes up all the time where it's so like, whoa, dude. Like you guys are supposed to be like super nice and stuff. And that takes it's so annoying how it gets continuously taken out of context,
Yep.
especially when we're talking about church security specifically. Like in what world, regardless of your belief, would it be acceptable for you to let someone come into your church and harm children and
Mhm.
families who are there to just try to worship? You know what I mean?
Yep. Yep.
So, um, yeah. And specifically, like in Psalm 82, it calls for believers to protect the vulnerable. Like that's
Mhm.
specifically what that is talking about. By the
Yep.
way, in my current reading or my current study, my Bible plan, I just finished. Actually, I don't know if I finished it, but Psalm 119.
Yeah. That's a good one,
So
dude.
yeah, and I think it could be split up into separate ones, but it's fine.
You
It's
know,
not a big deal. It's okay.
and if you dude, what's crazy too is how awesome the Holy Spirit is if you look at Psalm 119, I'm gonna pull it up right now. Hold on. Psalm 119.
156 verses. So we talked about.
176, I think. But it's the way it's written in Hebrew is each one of those um breakouts of scripture. It's Aleph, Bet, Gimel. It basically goes down the Hebrew like alphabet, and everything in that in Hebrew starts with the Aleph, starts with the Beth. It starts with the Gim. It's written in such poetry that all 176 verses fall directly in line with the Hebrew alphabet. How gangster is that? Like such a level of like
Oh yeah.
intricacy that the Holy Spirit chose to use David to write. Like that's crazy. If you start looking at each one of those verses originally, thought each one of those thoughts originally started with the character of the the Hebrew alphabet. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Caveat. Side note, man, but
Yeah, boy.
it goes right into the second slot, right? So moral responsibility of carrying a weapon. So what's your take on that deal? What is your moral responsibility to carry a weapon?
Yeah. So for me, I'm super. I don't want to say anal, but I think okay. This is going to sound harsh probably to a lot of people, but in my opinion, like if you're not shooting at least monthly from concealment or practicing on a consistent basis, at the very, very, very least monthly, you should be shooting at least 100 rounds every month at minimum. If you can't do that and you're doing some sort of like shot simulator or something like that, hold on, look at this.
Passed
What
out,
are you
dude. I'd
doing?
love it. He stole your beanbag, dude.
Such a nerd. Anyways, so like I was saying, at the very, very minimum, 100 rounds a month or several, like maybe like 5-10 minutes a day dry firing, drawing from concealment, getting a target. Like that's like a minimum. There is So contradictory to that, if you're a woman, right, and this is kind of like there's a two-part thing, right? So the first thing is that if you're a woman, I used to think that you should only carry something that you can shoot consistently well. However, my mentality has changed on that to where you should carry something that you're going to carry, right? You should carry something that you're going to be able to protect yourself with, whether that's like a bodyguard or a snub nose revolver or whatever it is, something that you're going to
Mhm.
carry on your person. Okay. Reason being is because women carry or women generally in our atmosphere, right? So like Amanda, Erin, all my friends' wives, leggings are like
Mhm.
their
Yeah.
main set of. I mean, it's like, what are you wearing
Of
today? Oh,
attire. Yep.
leggings and a hoodie, or leggings and a tank
Yep.
top, leggings and this, or
Mhm.
leggings flowy tank top, blah blah
I
blah,
wear
leggings,
leggings
right?
also.
So the purpose of this conversation as of right now is if you're a woman, you should carry something that you're going to carry, something that is small, something that is not going to be super uncomfortable for you to carry. Um, it shouldn't be, and this is just my opinion, it shouldn't be something that you're going to necessarily like to shoot often, because what I think for a woman as far as self-defense goes is something that's going to be super close proximity, right? So
Yep.
that's why I say a bodyguard or like a Beretta Pico, even though that's like the ugliest and most uncomfortable gun ever. Something small,
Mhm.
that like the one that I have, the Smith and Wesson bodyguard I have, the 380 has a clip on it, or like a Ruger, the new Ruger LCP, something like
Mhm.
that. Because like
Pocket pistols. Yep.
you're going to be in close proximity, and like if someone's attacking you, you want to be 100% sure that this is something that you're going to do. You don't want to be too far away. So like something like they call it a gut gun, right? Because if someone's like on top of you, you can pull it and draw.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And just dump the mag into them, and then you can get out. So on the other side of it, for guys, you should be carrying something that you are going to want to shoot
Mhm.
and that you're comfortable shooting regularly. Um, if not, you should be practicing with something that's similar, right? So like
Mhm.
I carry a Glock 45, which is not a big, well, it is fairly big. It's got a Glock 17 mag and frame, the grip, and then the 19 slide. So
What caliber do you carry?
this is what I carry. I
What
have
what
this
Glock is
one.
that?
This is a Glock 45,
45?
9 mil.
Okay.
So it's got the 17 grip here, and then this is a 19 slide, right? So that's what I carry regularly. Now, I also just built this thing. This is a Glock Store M1X, which is a 26X, right? So a 26 is a very short slide here. I'm pointing here on this side, and then has a 19 grip. Okay, so it's very short, right? So like the Glock 26 normally has a very short grip, like very
Yeah.
like right here. But this has a
Yeah.
19 grip, but a shorter slide. So I haven't shot this yet because I just put it together. But we'll see how it shoots this weekend. Now,
That's awesome. I didn't even realize they made a 26X.
they don't.
You
So
just you hybrid it.
Glock Store made the frame, and then you have to put a 26 slide on it.
Got it.
So for me, I like to carry these fuller size pistols. Like I'm not a big super huge fan of a Glock 19, but if you're a guy and you carry a gun, you need to be shooting it. Like you
Mhm.
should be super proficient with that. I don't like to hear when people are like, "Oh, I'm proficient with it," when they shoot once every 2 years or 3 years or
Yeah.
once a year, and they shoot, and if you're expecting to be proficient in your own mind with something that you shoot once a year for maybe 50 rounds or 100 rounds,
Yeah.
in my opinion, that's not acceptable. You have to be able to manipulate that gun to the extent of you're able to save your life or others' lives without hesitation, without like freezing or anything like that. So like sometimes you just can't go to the range. I get that. Like maybe 1 or 2 months you have to skip, but like on an average, you should be hitting the range consistently to where like you can draw and shoot quickly, right? And be on target and like practice self-defense with like a dummy gun or something like that, with like a something like this. In the holster. Like all I got to do is I put my light on the holster so it's retention, and then like I can practice fighting with this in my appendix, you know.
Yeah.
And it's not a bad idea to maybe carry like pepper spray, right? Like a good pepper spray like Saber Red as a vehicle defense, right? So like I keep, I'm not going to say, there's always a gun on or near me within reach, right? So when I'm in the gym, I have a pistol in my gym bag that I take to wherever I'm at in the gym working out. My gym's not huge. It's actually quite small. It's like maybe, if you put them side by side, probably like 3 2-car garages. So it's not very big at all. But I want to be able to be the person, if something comes up, that I'm there, and you know, it is what it is. That gun stays in that gym bag and it's always next to me. So with the carrying of a gun, you need to be 100% responsible. You need to be consistent with it. You need to clean it. I mean, I've seen, and this is for me, right? So the majority of law enforcement can't shoot. Like their ability to shoot effectively and accurately is thumbs down, big time, because they only have to qualify once a year.
Once? Yep.
Well, yeah, or twice. I mean, whatever it is. Once every 6 months is still nothing. And one thing that my dad brought up when he was law enforcement is that he would like see all these dudes, like when they knew that their qualification was coming up, like they would go, "Hey man, you want to go to the range? We got to practice." If you've ever seen a law enforcement qualification or like have done it, it is not hard at all. Like you could do it without having shot in years, realistically. And that is not acceptable to me. If I'm a cop or any type of law enforcement, I'm shooting all the time. Why not? You get free ammo. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah. Yeah. Just go to the range.
Like be proficient. I mean, be exceptionally proficient, because a lot of times if your life is on the line or someone else's life on the line, like that's going to be more in your area. Also, the same reason why cops should do jiu-jitsu. Don't get me started on that. That's a real big pain point for me, but I won't go over that. So all of this stuff comes into the moral responsibility of carrying a firearm, and like being able to protect yourself and others. You know what I mean? Like you were just talking about people saying like, "I see red." There's like this fun, and I'll send it to you because it's kind of funny. There's like this back and forth on IG that this guy who's like he's not like a well-known MMA fighter, but he's got some fights under his belt. And then this, I think he's a power lifter or something. He's just doing it for clicks or something, but he's basically talking trash to this guy who's a MMA guy. And this dude, this power lifter guy's like 280 pounds, and this other dude's like 200. And he's like, I outweigh you by almost 100 pounds. There's no way you're going to even come close to taking me. And it's like, this dude is like a professional or former professional MMA fighter. Like, and all you do is lift weights. Do you not understand the amount of training that even like a low level MMA fighter has, let alone someone who has professional fights? Like, do you not comprehend that? Like, think about your time as a power lifter, this guy, right? And they're going back and forth, and this dude's like, "Yeah, you're trash." He's like, "Set a date." And he's like, "Okay." And so he like, this guy who runs another guy who runs the like a fight promotion was like, "You guys can fight on this card on May 8th, I think it is, or May 9th or whatever." And it's like, the dude is like, crickets, you know? So the lack of the lack of understanding reality
Yes.
with most people. Like, and don't get me wrong, sometimes in the back of my mind, I'm like, man, I wish someone would test me. But then again, I'm like, man, I don't.
Yeah.
Because the last thing that I want to do is hurt someone.
Yep.
Um, or heaven forbid kill someone, because I've done it before and it sucks. Like when I was in the army, I had, pretty close contact and, had to take a life. And like after effects of that was just like, it was really hard to kind of deal with. And
Mhm.
I could probably deal with it now pending it was like justified.
Yeah.
But like it's just not something that I would want anyone to have to deal with, because
Yep.
it's not okay.
Mhm.
Like, you're not meant to do that as a person, like, as a human, as a child
Mhm.
of God. You're not supposed to have to take a life.
Yep.
Um, and, like, I don't think about it a lot anymore, but I used to think about it all the time, and I was like, "Man, I just hope God forgives me for this thing." And given the capacity in which I was in at that moment, it was like, I'm not super concerned about forgiveness from God anymore on that,
Yeah.
because it was kind of like it's part of the job. And it was justified because my teammate was in danger. So, but like everyone who's like, oh man, you see like these comments on social media where they're like, oh yeah, I could easily take a life. I could do that. And I'm like, dude, you have no idea. Like, you have no clue.
Yeah.
And for what? Because someone tried to steal your car, or what? Like, you have to justify what you're
Yeah.
doing. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like, you can't sit there and be like, oh dude, I would just shoot that dude. Okay. And then when the cops come and arrest you, because you're going to get arrested, because they have to
Yep.
investigate, right? What are you going to say? What is going to be your justification? Well, he was stealing my car and I didn't want him to take it. Like,
Yeah.
self-defense,
Mhm.
deadly force and justification for property is not a thing. Like, that doesn't exist. And there are caveats to that, obviously. If your kid is in the car and someone is trying to steal your car, that's kidnapping. That's a completely different thing.
Mhm.
And if someone steals your car and tries to run you over with it, that's another thing, right?
Yep.
Um, so like, but those are situations in which like you need to be able to think, hey man, this dude's stealing my car right in front of me. Am I going to stand in the way of this car
Is this
to
avoidable? Yeah.
can I move out of the way? Because most states, like Arizona and Idaho specifically, there's what's called a reasonable person law. It's not like the law, but it's like ingrained in the castle doctrine and the stand your ground law aspects of it, and it's the reasonable person. And that means in a similar situation, would a reasonable person conduct themselves in the same way? And if you think about specific things, right? Like, hey man, like this dude's stealing my car. Would a reasonable person shoot that person? No, because
Yeah.
there's no justification in that. Did you know that it is a higher felony in the state of Arizona to steal a car than it is to steal a firearm?
Interesting.
So, and I asked my dad this when he was a cop in Arizona, and I was like, is it what's higher? And he's like, stealing a car. And it's based on the value, not based on the danger of the item that's being stolen, which to me is crazy.
Interesting. That
Isn't
is
that
crazy.
crazy?
That is
So
crazy.
if anyone's in Arizona, just know that. And I'm pretty sure it's the same in Idaho as well. I haven't looked into it. I can ask a buddy of mine. But doesn't that seem crazy? Like,
That is crazy.
I don't know.
It's
So
it's okay, it's lesser, it's a slap on the wrist to steal a gun that could kill people.
yeah.
But
So
here's my Mercedes.
now moving on to, so now that we kind of went over that, so my stance on the responsibility of carrying a firearm, that's been kind of discussed. So
Yep.
let's go to our third
Yep.
point for the day. Um, about defense being about protecting life and not aggression. It's
Yep.
exactly the same thing that I was kind of just talking about, right?
100%.
Um, the intent must always be prevention instead of escalation. So if I'm at if I'm out by myself, right? If I'm at the store or I'm in a parking lot and I'm by myself and this dude comes up to me and he's like just being super aggressive with me, like, I'm not justified by the law or biblically to shoot this guy, right? Because he's just saying words. He's just being aggressive.
Yeah.
Now, if he gets to the point where I feel like I'm in danger imminently, I have the ability to, like, get him away from me. And in my phrasing that I always use is break contact, right? I'm not going to sit here and try to fight a guy in the parking lot for no reason. I'm going to walk away. I'm going to keep my eyes on this guy, right? But I'm not going to sit there and try to fight him.
Yeah.
If my family's with me, like you talked about this the other day, you guys have a code word for something like this.
Yep.
Where a dude comes up to me and I'm out with my wife and son, I'm not going to sit there and fight, because if anything happens to me, they're
at risk. Yeah.
They're at risk, right? They're what's the word? I can't think of the word. Anyways, I don't know. They are, begins with BLE or ends with BLE, something bull.
Man, what the heck was this?
I don't know. Vulnerable. There we go.
Vulnerable.
So like if I'm taken out of the picture, like they're vulnerable, right? Now then
Yes.
at that point, the justification for deadly force falls on Aaron or Andrew for that matter. Heaven forbid he ever have to deal with that.
Yes.
But I'm not going to take myself out of the equation because I have an ego and I want to like show this dude that I can fight, because I know that I can fight, right? And I don't want to put them in a situation, and I don't want to have to hurt some dude or kill some dude if he's just having a bad day and he's just raising his voice at me and getting in my face. Like, that's not something that I'm necessarily concerned with, right? Because like that dude's probably he may have like been having the worst day of his life. His wife may have left him. He may have like any number of different things, right? So unless I think there's an imminent threat to me and my family, there is no reason for me to do anything other than break contact and get away. I may call the police afterwards and let them know, like, hey, this dude is being aggressive. He's in this location, which you definitely should do, because if he goes after someone else and does injure them or something like that, then, I'm going to feel bad about that because I didn't do what I should have done. So, the protection, it falls on us at church as well, right? Like we are there to protect the congregation. There may be other people in the church, and I don't know if you guys have had this conversation with your congregation at all, but like guaranteed in one service, there's probably 50 guns, maybe more, depending on the number of people, right? Because Arizona and Idaho are both constitutional carry states, right? You don't need a permit to conceal carry.
Nope.
Okay. So if something happens, and we've had this meeting once at our church, it was a couple years ago, we probably should do it again, actually, where we put out to like concealed carry holders and we said, hey, we're going to have a meeting on Saturday. And we say, hey, you guys, this is our job. We are volunteers for this purpose, to protect the church. If something happens, stay where you're at, protect your family, but don't try to engage. Leave that up to us. Right. We train for it on a regular basis, like monthly. We have training every month. And like, that's why we're there. So if anything comes close to your family, protect your family, but don't try to engage and don't try to do anything, because heaven forbid we assume that you're the guy and we take you down because you're posing a threat to us or someone else. We don't want to have to deal with that. So we try to get that point across in those meetings. So I don't know if you guys do that, but if you don't, you probably
should. We definitely
should talk to the pastor about it. But yeah, and so like that's our job at church, man. Like that's what we're there for. We're there to protect the congregation from all enemies, foreign and domestic, So yeah. So and Matthew 26:52 specifically talks about violence, right? Let me pull that up so I can give you a brief synopsis on that. Matthew 26:52, where Jesus tells Peter, right, when he's in the garden of, is it Gethsemane? When Judas, not Judah. Oh, those are completely different. When Judas comes and he's betraying Jesus and he kisses him on the cheek, and then Peter like slices it's like a servant of one of the dudes. and he cuts his
Draws
ear
a
off, and
sword, cuts
Jesus
his ear
like
off.
and Jesus heals the ear like pretty much immediately. Um, Peter's reacting impulsively there, right? So like we have to know that in that instance, we have to not act impulsively ourselves because Jesus immediately corrects him. And then the key there is like that force is not really ever allowed, um, and that a life driven by violence leads to destruction. So Peter wasn't
Mhm.
acting out of wisdom or necessity; he was reacting out of emotion. And we always want to talk about like emotion as a negative thing when we're talking about reacting. We want to use logic, right? So
Mhm.
Jesus calls that out specifically and then redirects him. You know,
Yep.
and um, and that specifically talks to the mindset. It warns against being the kind of person who's quick to escalate, someone who lives by aggression or relies on violence as a first response, as opposed to someone who has the ability to like calm down, evaluate the situation, and then like respond accordingly. So like that doesn't mean that we don't have to cancel. It doesn't mean that we have to cancel out the responsibility to protect life, right? It draws a line between purposeful defense and reckless
Yep.
aggression. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So, and the specific takeaway there is like the Christian is not someone who looks for conflict or leans on violence, but someone who exercises restraint, wisdom, and control. Strength
Yep.
isn't proven by how quickly you can act, but how well you can hold back until it's absolutely needed. You know what I
Yep.
mean? And that's one of
Yep.
the biggest things for like for both of us, right? Like we train, like we learn that. I think a big part of that we learn in jujitsu as well. Like we know
Yes.
how to adjust the tempo based on the person's skill level and who we're training with, right? Like I'm not going to go to some new white belt and just like body slam them
Obliterate.
and then like jump
Yeah.
on them and then choke them. Like I may do that eventually, but I'm not going to like,
Not a brand new one.
especially like an intro class, dude. Like they're going to come in there, they're going to be like, this is my first day. And I'm going to be like, oh, sweet. Wham, wham, wham. And just like, oh, I just hit my
Yeet.
mic and like go crazy on the dude. And like, then he's never going to come back and train. Right. I
Yeah.
need to adjust. Well,
Yep.
we call it escalation of force in the Army. I have to use the proportional amount of force in order to alleviate the threat that is needed, right? So, like, if someone is like getting in my face and he's like pushing me, then like I'm just gonna like push him back and get him away from me. Like, hey man, just like chill out, dude. Like, relax.
Yeah.
And especially at church, right? Like, I'm not
Yep.
going to escalate it that fast at church. I'm gonna be like, hey
No.
man, like what's going on? Like we need you to calm down. Like, do you want to talk about something? Do we need to pray about something?
Yeah.
That's why we're here, man. Like, we are here as like one of the first preventative measures at the church to like de-escalate, and then hopefully we can save some people, like
Yeah.
via God, obviously. Like, I'm not gonna be like, you're saved,
Yeah.
it's gonna be like, hey man, what's up? Like, do you want to talk to the pastor? Like, do you need, prayer? Like, what's happening? Have a conversation with
Yeah.
us. Obviously, there's going to be probably two or three of us around that dude
Yes.
because it's a potential security risk, but we want to make sure like they're at a church for a reason
Yes.
for the most part. And because they're having a bad day, just like the guy in the parking lot at the grocery store, they came to church and they may have came because they felt like convicted to come to church. They need to talk to someone. They may have like God may have spoken to them and say, hey, there's a church right here, a service, and all this stuff just happened to you. Go talk to someone. Like
Yep.
God saying, I want you to come to me now. I need you to come to me because was it Matthew 11:28, right? Come to me, all those who are weary and heavy laden or heavy burden.
Yep. Mhm.
I'll give you rest. Like that is what that verse is about. Like go to Jesus when you are in a position of like troublesome worry, um, hurt, like everything that you're feeling in a negative aspect, Jesus wants you to come to him. And if we are those people who are standing in the parking lot or we're in the lobby and someone comes in aggressively and they say, they're having a really bad day, we want to be the intermediary from Jesus on earth, or I don't know, however you want to say it, and get them to the pastor who is the expert or someone who we have like a team at our church called the Stephen Ministries. They are the ones who like if someone comes in and they're having like a really bad day, those are the guys that generally will talk to him and
Mhm.
like, "Hey man, come on, like let's go pray, let's go talk." Those are the
Yeah.
guys who can de-escalate, figure out what's up, pray with them, get them to the point where they're able to accept, maybe they want to get baptized that day or, or just something, they're the ones
Yep.
who can be like, "Hey man, scripturally, this is what you're experiencing and this is what Jesus says here, or this is what the Bible says here, or whatever it is." You know what I mean? So, yeah, that's that's my
Yeah. Yeah,
48
I
cents
mean
and all that.
yeah, I mean, no, 100%. So, like, I think even as any Christian, right, whether or not you carry a firearm or not, whether or not you're versed in training or whatever, the mission needs to stay at the front of your mind all the time. And what's that mission? Is for those that are lost to be found by Christ, right? Those who are far from God can experience Him.
Yeah.
And in every way, particularly when if you have chosen, first of all, like when I first got a pistol, I think it was a safe decor for like 3 years before I decided,
Mm.
because I really had to sit before with God and say, "Hey man, could I take the life of a human being as a
Mhm.
Christian?" Like really warred with that, thought through it, like, "Hey, you know how this is." And then once I've determined, like, "Hey, this is something I can do," then it was like, "Okay, well, how can I become um, not a liability carrying this?" So then, looking up training, looking up, okay, dry fire drills, doing these things to make myself feel more comfortable doing it. Now you feel more comfortable, you seek the right training, you get familiar doing it. The mission never wavered. It's like,
Right.
wearing a seatbelt in a car. Like, I have faith that God's gonna get me to where I need to go, but if I were to get into a car accident, I hope that that seatbelt is there for a reason, right? It's the same
Mhm.
way every time I put my pistol in my appendix, I said, "God, I hope I never have to use this, but if I do, let me be concise. Let me be, exercise wisdom, but also not lose sight," right? Like, a lot of times when you first get, it's like a false sense of, like, like, "Oh, man, I can handle
Oh, yeah.
whatever comes my way."
Yep.
It's like, no, man, that isn't at the absolute last resort. Because at the other end of that barrel, when you discharge a round, that's a loss of life,
Mhm.
the life that God died for. And understanding the only reason that comes out is there's no other physical option
Yeah.
necessary. At the
Yeah.
end of the day, my heart is never to go seek that out, but to be capable to do it if I need to save my family, need to save my
Mhm.
church, need to save myself. And the idea is the de escalation. Training a non-lethal sport such as jujitsu or skill set, mixed martial arts of any kind that
Yeah.
teaches you how to manipulate a human body in such a way that you can de-escalate a physical altercation without causing harm. Because there's no reason I need to rearrange a guy's face and shatter orbital bones to prove a point. No, I can put you in a position that I incapacitate your ability to harm me or yourself
Mhm.
without causing injury. I can put you in a position until you calm down. That's what it is. But the whole mindset is at the end of this, like, don't let me make you meet Jesus today, buddy. Like, I don't want to have to
Yeah.
do it. Like, if you're going to push me far enough, I will rearrange a face to face meeting with the creator. Don't make me have to do it. But at the end of it, it is a de escalation thing. There was a guy we had to remove from he walked in just years ago. And I knew he was going to be combative from the moment that he walked through the door. He was just didn't say hi to anyone, sat down kind of front and center, like middle rows. We sent a safety team member behind him. Um, and in the middle of the sermon, he stood up. Our safety team member grabbed him on the side of the shoulder, like pinched that nerve right in the neck, walked him out to us and was like, "Dude, don't make this any worse than it has to be. Let's go have a conversation." And it turned out that he was having the worst day of his life. It turned out that he just needed, it was his expression of rage that was built up inside of him, that all he needed was to understand that we're not going to be pushed over. There's a formidable force that's willing to exercise it, but to put him in a position like we're going to have a conversation before anything else happens to you, because you're not thinking clearly, you're not thinking logically. Let's have a conversation.
Yeah.
At the end of it, we got to pray with him, send him on his way. I've never seen him again.
Oh, wow.
Very easily could have put his face on the ground. That's an
Yeah.
escalation that was unnecessary. Only do exactly what's necessary to mitigate the contact or the instance of someone being combative or disrespectful or whatever in that moment, with the whole purpose of ushering them into a position of encountering Christ in our own reaction and our own ability to handle a situation like that. And I pray, this is what I tell my safety team every Sunday, man. I said, first of all, I don't want us to stand there like sentinels that are unapproachable. Like obviously when we're clocked in, we're clocked in. I'm always assessing, I'm always looking, I'm always observing, I'm always scanning for, I'm just doing what I need to do. But I want every person that encounters our safety team first to see Jesus in us. Because if I'm here and I'm not pointing those people to him, then what am I doing? I'm just occupying a space. And the mission never changes. So this whole thing about carrying a firearm, you have to understand it's our moral responsibility to know how to carry a firearm, to be responsible with it, to understand that it's the preservation of life, not aggression, and it's the last option for anything. Because we don't want to set out to end somebody's life, but we have to understand that we have to be capable. You have to sit with yourself really and say, God, am I capable of doing this? Because there are lasting effects neurologically, psychologically, physiologically that happen if something like that were to happen. You can't say that you're unaffected. And if you say you're unaffected, you probably need more counseling because you're a sociopath or, you don't have emotions, right? Like you came broken from the factory and you need some character, you need some counseling. Jesus cherished life. He, just like we celebrated on Easter and Good Friday, he chose to hang on a cross and say, forgive them for they know not what they do, because the life of every person on earth is valuable to him. And every person we interact with is the preservation of the life that Jesus died for, in hopes that they encounter him. And if you lose sight of that mission, I say leave your firearm in the safe. If you're walking out of the house looking for a fight or looking for aggression, leave your form of lethality at home until you work that out inside yourself. Because no one should ever leave the house with the intention of hurting and harming someone, ever. Period. Now, as a Christian, stay trained up, stay prayed up, stay proficient in the things that you're going to carry. Do these things because that is a representation first of discipline, first of integrity, first of logic, like all these things that represent Christ, you must inhibit and exhibit in yourself before you ever step out of the house with something that could take someone else's life. So do it, pray up, study, do, like you're saying, train, whether I got like one of those strikeman things that I set up across the house, right, at different distances. Because in summertime in Arizona shuts down, summertime shuts all the BLM land. Done.
In all reality, you can get let's say on the high end, a $30 laser bullet and painter's tape, and put painter's tape on the wall and then practice, like that's training, man. Like that gets down like mechanics, that gets down like all your different like necessary training. I mean, I would say that that's just as good as shooting almost. I mean, you don't have the recoil, but other than that, like, I mean, everything is the same. Fundamentals can be the same. You can get sight picture, you can get trigger squeeze, you can see where your rounds would be impacting and all this other stuff. The only thing it doesn't help with is like multiple shots. Like, that's fine, whatever. Final thoughts.
Boom, man. It's just what a privilege it is first to be known and counted by him, but also to understand that God's tasked us with a task that people get to see and encounter the freedom that I've encountered. And at the end of the day, man, all of this, it means nothing if I don't have love in my heart, right? Corinthians talks about the clanging cymbal, right? Have I not done these in your name? Have I not cast out demons? Have I not raised the dead? But I've done it without love. Then what am I doing? And what a privilege it is to love people in their mess and to see heaven and eternity touch earth. And part of that is being in cultivating an environment where they can, whether that's at church or their home, their interaction with you. At the end of the day, man, pointing people back to Christ and seeing Christ encounter them where they're at is the most life-giving thing ever, man. And I just get the privilege of stewarding that with the safety team at church, with my own family, right? I want to be able to protect the environment that God chooses to encounter people in their brokenness. And that's part of this whole thing. Firearms, don't shy away from them. Train on them. Firearms in the hands of the right people stop bad people.
Yeah.
Period. And in order to stop bad people, you cultivate in the environment for people to encounter Christ, right? So stay trade up, stay vigilant, be proficient, study what rounds to put in your gun. That's a whole nother thing. Find a good hollow point, right? Like all these things. Find someone knowledgeable in your area. Go to a local gun shop. They're going to talk guns all day long. That's their job. They're going to enjoy training you and talking to you and teaching you. In the gun culture in general, you've never arrived. You can always learn to do something better, more proficient. You can learn a new tactic. You can learn a new ideology. You can understand, continue growing just in the same way you develop spiritually. You must develop, whether it's training jiu-jitsu, whether it's firearms training, whether it's martial arts, whatever it is, do and set your mind to continually train and to continually grow your mindset, and you'll never be the same person. Grow spiritually, grow physically, train, work out, do the things, eat right, do those things, because I can't expect to perform at optimum peak, physicality if I'm eating McDonald's and I'm drinking, every coffee has 75 grams of, sugar in it, right? Like, you can't expect your body to work if you're feeling it poorly. That's a whole nother thing. But take care of the temple, train your mind, train your body, and be vigilant, and look for people who are far from Christ so that they can experience him.
Yeah.
Boom. That's what I said.
And then one last 20 seconds, 30 seconds here. The Bible supports defending life, but it doesn't celebrate violence. Okay. So a Christian who carries a weapon should demonstrate that discipline, restraint, and commitment to protecting others.
Yep. Period.
So, yeah. All right. That's all we
Love
got.
you guys.
Love you guys. You gonna pray? You pray? You pray?
Let's do it. Jesus, we just thank you for who you are. Thank you for what you do, what you've already achieved, that we've got to celebrate Good Friday, celebrate the resurrection, God, that we keep those things near and dear in every single day, in every moment. And understanding that we're put here on earth with the breath in our lungs to see people that are lost saved, lives transformed, lives renewed, and things that we thought were gone, broken, and to be forever separated from us, to restore to us, God, that we to be a vessel of your kingdom here on earth. Use us, transform us, everyone underneath the sound of my voice, God, that you continue to bless, you mold, you shape them, and grow them up to the people and the vessels you've called them to be, implements to be written, eternity here on earth, and it'll be all for your glory. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.